What's going on?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm I'm freezing my ass off. It's negative degrees up here, like negative double digit degrees up here. It's so cold.
No, thank you. Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, it goes into like the single digits when the sun's out, but the sun isn't out that long anymore, so it's just freezing. And we're staying bundled up.
Single digits with the sun out. Are you kidding me? Oh my
Negative single
God.
digits. Negative single digits.
Negative. That is absurd. Oh my God.
It's
Good
chilly.
luck. So you have a very ridiculous winter ahead, apparently.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough, but we stay bundled up.
Yeah, with bare hearts and Eskimo livestock fur, I hope.
Yeah. Yep, and lots of stuffed animals and blankets and furs. Yep. So we're all good up here.
Nice.
All cuddly.
All cuddly the way it should be. So, tonight on the Cajun and Eskimo show, you will have yours truly, the greatest of all greatest, Eskimo, talking about the. Sorry, I was about to say Kenosha, and that would be completely wrong. The Ketchikan mass school mandates and some other updates, and then I will briefly talk about how I feel on the Kenosha trial. Next on the Cajun and Eskimo show from Bayous to Iglus. Nice. Love that intro.
For sure. Super cool. I like the fishy.
Yeah. Yeah. You kissing that fish was very incredible. Always will be incredible. So kiss more fish. And you heard that here first on the Cajun Eskimo show, where the your favorite libertarian, Eskimo libertarian, will be kissing more fish, apparently.
Okay. I guess I
Yeah,
am.
yeah, you have to
Which,
kiss more fish.
coincidentally enough, one of my topics does talk about fish up here in Alaska, of course.
Nice. And
Of
what
course.
topic is that?
Oh, well, that will be Dunleavy has a new task force that he's announced. But first, let's pay some
Nice.
bills with some sponsors. Announcing some sponsors here.
Let's do that. Are we gonna pay some bills with sponsors or just the incredible information that you have to give? I'd say both. But first, let's start off with Cumberland Cannabis Company, your viable, ethical, and effective solution for CBD and CBG, hopefully. If any of you are looking for a real effective solution for your inflammation issues and or just all of the above medical situations, you can go to Cumberland Cannabis Company, viable, ethical, and effective Cumberland Cannabis Company. Go check them out. They're a small business, locally owned, based in Tennessee. So please go check them out for all of your medical needs. And if none of those fit your needs according to your doctor, then find out what your doctor would like you to go to. But I would strongly suggest that cannabis or any derivative or most derivatives of cannabis will solve a vast majority of problems. And you can find out those resolutions there at Cumberland Cannabis Company, viable, ethical, and effective. You know who else is effective? Somebody that's running for governor of Pennsylvania.
Yes, Joe Solosky. He is running for governor of Pennsylvania. He is the key to Pennsylvania's success. So be sure to check out Joe Solosky and his platforms. And yeah, he is the key to Pennsylvania's success. Help him be the first libertarian governor.
Hmm. I got a feeling we're going to have a couple of libertarian governors coming up in this election. Hopefully, Joe Solosky and Natalie Bruno are two of those, plus a multitude of others. So thank y'all very much for pushing the liberty movement forward and doing all the work that is just an ungodly amount of work to be able to do what you do and get us out there into the news media for freedom.
Exactly. And another thing that we should be looking out for is Kids Cupboard. So lately I've teamed up with Kids Cupboard and we are raising money to help feed hungry children across Alaska. And so they're a local nonprofit and they feed children every day that are hungry. They, however, do not have the funds to continue for the rest of the winter. And so they need your help. So I've been raising money to help them out. And I will be meeting with state legislators soon to hopefully we can implement some policies that will make it easier to feed children and make sure that there's policies in place that less children fall underneath, that have this need. So if you check out Kids Cupboard on my page, there is a GoFundMe link. And yeah, so far we've raised like $2,000, which is amazing. Local nonprofit. This is all voluntary based. They need volunteers, they need money, they need supplies. All that is on the my page pinned to the top. There's a link and everything. So go check them out. All right, moving right along. Okay, so first thing I would like to talk about, speaking of children, the Ketchikan School Board has loosened its mask rules lately. So this is in Ketchikan. Ketchikan is like our farthest south city. It's like near the Panhandle, kind of close to Seattle. So like if this is Alaska, here we go. It's it's like down here. So way down south in the little corner. So we have 3 elected libertarians there, side note. 2 of them are on the school board and 1 is on the city council. So there's Paul Robbins Jr. He is on the school board and he's the communications director for the Alaska LP and was recently on Matt Wright's show for Veterans Day because he's a veteran and he's a Marine. So that's probably where you've heard that name before. He was on Matt Wright's show. So anyways, he pretty much brought it up to the board and it passed. So it's a 5-2 vote. Ketchikan School Board loosened the school district's mask rules. So what does that mean? At their meeting, they heard testimony and ultimately did what the parents asked. The state officials urged against this, but the board went in favor of the parents. So also the school board president was in favor of this, and he was quoted of saying, I still believe that we need to move towards an end to the masking requirements. So now the policy is when there are less than 50 cases in Ketchikan, students would not be required to mask up at school. It's still a choice. You can still wear a mask if you'd like, but it's not required. So this takes effect December 6th. And for the middle school and the high school, this goes into effect for the elementary schools after winter break. Masks are still required for athletes and spectators at events due to like regional interscholastic rules. And then also they're still required on buses because that's a federal mandate. But still, they're implementing this idea that's more libertarian based off of like how you feel you make your own choice. All right. And so this is a great example of why we need libertarians at the local level. So this was implemented on the school board. The school board felt that parents' voices held more weight on this matter than the state. And that's a libertarian idea. Too often, we see school boards ignoring the concerns of parents and allowing the state to take control of our children's education. So, as a parent, this is really important to me. And this is why we need more libertarians at this local level. This is the school board here. Unfortunately, people are reporting this as the school board is removing protections, but really they're restoring the choice on this matter. So notice how they take that narrative of when we give the choice back to the people, there's this narrative that we're making life more dangerous, that we aren't responsible enough for ourselves, and that's quite
Hmm.
dangerous. That's what is dangerous, is removing our rights. They're trying to condition you to think that your rights are dangerous.
That's
So
exactly right.
I mean, if you read articles about this is all they're talking about. Is like they're removing the last layer of protection. We're just giving the choice back to the parents and the children. Parents can choose if their child is masked or not. It's up to them. If you feel safe with a mask, you can wear one. If you don't want one, you don't have to have one. We're moving forward. And like the school board president said, we need to find an end to this mask fiasco. So I thought that was really great hearing about it. I heard about it from Paul Robbins himself, and I'm like, hey, this is amazing. So, this is an example of
Very.
what libertarians can do at the local level. Ta da!
Yeah. Very.
So,
That's a great example of how we can affect change on a real level. That's also a very good testament of how scared they are of our voices in our movement. That's a fact. We cannot
correct.
relent. We cannot let up. This is a true testimony of how scared they are of our power.
Yeah, and it's just really great to see people standing up for, the parents and taking back control, giving the control back to the parents. This is their child. All right. The state doesn't own your children. All right. These are your
Right.
children. So, I just thought this was so amazing. What else is
And
amazing at the local level? Oh, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. I was just going to agree with you.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so super great, wholesome story. We need more of those, more wins. I mean, we
Yes.
already have had more wins previously, like earlier this month with all those elected libertarians. And I hope to hear a lot more stories like this since we've had, over 150 elected libertarians this month. Ta-da!
Nice.
So, moving right along, the next thing, Dunleavy has announced a task force to address the bycatch issue. So, this is an issue I've brought up multiple times talking about trawler bycatch. So, really quick, if this is like your first time listening to us or you don't know what that is. So, trawling is a type of fishing that they do where they have this massive net. This thing's huge. You can actually swallow like a 737 plane, I believe. But it's so massive and it's pulled by, a massive ship or a couple of ships. And it collects everything that is in the way. So, it doesn't. So any sort of fish that is in the way will be caught. It drags along the bottom of the ocean as well. So what's left is pretty much like nothing but dirt that's all churned up. So anything that was living in the dirt, that's also killed. And so it's brought up on to the ship. Anything that is in the net that isn't what they were permitted to catch is considered bycatch. So first off, that stuff is dead. Nothing is going to survive that net. And they just throw it back overboard.
Wow.
And it's a really big issue. And we're talking like millions and millions of pounds of dead fish being tossed back into the ocean. And it's not just fish either. They've also caught whales. I had also posted like a picture where it had a couple of orcas that were in the net that they had to toss
Yep.
back overboard. Um, Sharks, uh, just anything really. So this is a really big issue for us Alaskans because this affects subsistence fishing. and those of us that are on the shore that are trying to have that subsistence lifestyle. And it's also killing off our ocean. And it's become a really big issue. And so now Governor Dunleavy has just announced a task force to address the bycatch issue. So, what does that mean? Looking at the letter, this task force will have 11 members that work together for the next year. Uh, these are not state officials, these positions. Each position represents a different part of fishing in the state. So, there is going to be an active trawling fisherman on the board. Uh, but there's also salmon harvesters, crab harvesters, charter operators. They also want a mayor of a coastal community. They want Alaska Native representative, just to name a few. So each position, it says how you qualify. Oh yeah, and one of them is like someone from the general public. So these are like voluntary positions that you aren't going to receive a salary, but travel and lodge is covered. Also, on top of those 11 members, there's going to be two ex officio non voting members. One of them is going to be from the state Senate, and that's appointed by the Senate president. And the other is going to be a state rep appointed by the Speaker of the House. So everyone's supposed to get together, meet once a month, work on a solution for the next year, is what it's going to be pretty much. That's the whole point of this. And I'm actually really tempted to throw my hat in there because I believe these sort of opportunities are important to get involved in as libertarians. So it's not an elected position. I know there's a lot of emphasis on elected positions, but it's a local government position pretty much that we can make a difference in and apply a libertarian solution. It's getting active in your community. And I encourage folks to look for opportunities like this and get in contact with your local affiliates. So again, it's not like an elected position. I have to send in an application and be, accepted, but they're looking at a problem and they need a solution. And I feel like more libertarians need to take the initiative to find opportunities like this where there's a problem and they're looking for a solution and we can implement a libertarian solution.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah, a
So
great way of doing that is being active. Being active vocally and legislatively.
for sure, being a loud constituent, um, getting people together and solving problems in your local community, or finding opportunities like this where this is like a big fancy invite, like we need people. Well, I'm a person
Hmm.
and I'm passionate about this. I really think this is a problem and I've talked about it so much. I'm going to throw my hat in there. So we'll see
Yeah.
if I actually get chosen. We'll see. But these these sort of opportunities happen all the time, and I feel like people overlook them because it's not an elected position. There's
Right.
just so much in terms of like government, that we can actually put more libertarians in there, and either it's like a wasteful position that we can eliminate, or it's a position where it's trying to solve a problem and we can put a libertarian solution in there. That's my
Yep. And
minarchist brain.
no, that's a good thought process. The fact of the matter is that if we can get more people to align and just even gravitate towards the idea of what you're talking about, then it doesn't necessarily real. Okay, so the libertarian label is less prominent because it is common sense, right? So if we can get people to attach to the fact that what you're saying in your area is common sense, which it is, then we don't have to worry about whether or not it's a libertarian philosophy. They will just gravitate towards libertarian ideology based upon the fact 100% that what you say and exactly what you're saying is is a good thing,
Yeah, I'm really
basically.
excited to get more involved and be more vocal about this issue, more so than I already have been, because People have been throwing in ideas for a solution that include like increasing taxes. Um, and a lot of people are okay with that idea. And I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's a few reasons I don't like that idea. It shows, well, first off, libertarians know that taxation can be, or it is extortion.
Right.
Additionally, I don't think it's going to deter more trawl fishing. In fact, it gives the idea that we're okay with trawl fishing for a price. And that is the mentality that is going to be portrayed. We're not okay with this at a price. We are just not okay with trawl fishing. All right. It is
Right.
awful. It is terrible. It is killing off our ecosystem. This isn't a sustainable way of fishing. And it's hurting us Alaskans. It's hurting the ocean area and everywhere around. And we're getting to a point that we're not going to be able to heal from this. So
Right.
I am not okay with this. I want it to stop. And I don't care how much money you want to pay in taxes. This idea is not for sale.
Right. And the other obvious fact here is that no matter how much money you pay in taxes, it will not resolve the issue. Taxation will not resolve this problem. That that's not an obvious reference to taxation is theft. I'm saying isolated from the idea that obviously taxation is theft, taxation won't solve the problem of bycatch in Alaska, which effectively results in a really bad all the way across the country situation when it comes to this situation. That's not going to help.
Yep. And so I think applying to this position and being on the board and being able to be vocal in the room at the table. Like everyone wants to be in the room when something's happening, and everyone in the room wants to be at the table where things are happening. So I want to be at that table,
Yep.
voicing my opinions directly and making a direct impact on our community and helping brainstorm realistic ideas that will be effective with a libertarian
Right.
solution. And yeah, it's, it's going to be
So,
exciting.
so just for clarification, what is it exactly that you're trying to achieve, role wise, and how can Alaskans? I'm assuming only Alaskans can help. How can
Yeah.
they do that?
Yeah, so there are 11 members that they are accepting applications for. Uh, Governor Dunleavy posted a letter describing each position, and to qualify, you have to be, because they're trying to have a wide variety of folks represented. They're looking for equal representation of all sorts of fishing. So go on there, see which ones apply to you, and you can apply online. Believe it's through the state website. I'd have to go check. So if you're really interested in this, go see which positions that you can actually apply for and apply for them and see if you
Yes.
can be more involved with solving this
Yes.
awful, awful issue that is affecting a lot of Alaskans. And I feel like not enough Alaskans know about this or know the gravity of the situation. So yeah, go check out the state website and apply for this. And let's see if we can get more libertarians involved with the solution.
Yeah, and not just that though. Their direct result from what happens in this scenario actually has an impact on the entire United States. This is not a lofty sort of connection. That's very real. What's going on with what no I'm sorry, Eskimo libertarian is talking about is a direct impact on a vast majority of the United States.
For sure. A huge impact on the ecosystem and the supply of seafood. And so we'll see. But I'm really excited and I'll be applying. And I encourage you folks to look for opportunities like this in your local area and encourage folks that work with your local affiliates, let them know about it too, and let's see if we can get more libertarians involved this way as well, not just elected positions.
Right. Exactly. And here is another person that we can get involved, and he will do absolutely nothing.
Oh,
Jack Casey, the gayest pirate you've ever seen, and we love him for it. However, he has written several books, none of which we will read. I can't speak for Eskimo. I imagine she has probably maybe read the interface. I don't know. Like the first page of his first book.
I've never seen his book. I've never held a copy of his book.
And that is the most perfect response to Jack Casey's book I've ever heard. Thank you, Eskimo. That's fantastic. But if you want to be bored out of your mind, or if you'd like to have material that may help you through the Let's Go Brandon energy situation, you can too, as well as we have get the royalgreen.com, Jack Casey's book. Please do that. Do that now. So, all right. I am going to be very quick because my entire house is absolutely littered with what we think is COVID,
Got the
and it
Rona.
ain't the first time. Yeah, the Rona. I text Nullick, or I'm sorry, Eskimo Libertarian.
Sorry.
Um, I I text her prior to. It was like we are struggling really bad. Everybody in the house is rough, not just rough, but like struggling with energy. We've been through COVID a couple of times, so we all have immunity, but it's not fun. So I don't feel horribly sick, but I feel like I could go to sleep in this chair while we're speaking right now, which has been the last couple of, well, the last time I dealt with COVID, which was the obvious Delta variant. It's not easy. So, and I have several comorbidities. So, if you're wanting to have the argument, I would not suggest using this example because we don't have the widest variety of scientific sample size. But yeah, I am I am the candidate for like the dude that is supposed to die a miserable death from COVID, and here we are, like our third time through with no vaccination, just natural immunity, and it is never fun. But at the same time, we're here. It just crushes me energy wise, and has every time. I will say this, I did get really sick the first time that I got it. But I was only sick for about 24 hours. I have two, or at least two, and a third one that they're still trying to confirm is an immunocompromised disease, but a valid two. One of those being a type 1 diabetic. So when the news tells you that we must do X, Y, and Z to save all of the lives of the immunocompromised, always remember, folks, that I am one of those people that they're talking about, but yet here we are, third time through COVID in whatever variant they're they're trying to say today. But
I
while
guess
I am
Ligma variant.
struggling, yeah, the ligma, yeah, I must say that's exactly, yeah, it's good. The ligma variant, yeah, we've been dealing for a couple of days now. My wife has lost all of her smell and taste. And so I'm hoping to God that that doesn't last long, because I do know personally a vast majority of people that have contracted COVID who are still struggling with their taste and smell, which is not good, right? Especially with the upcoming holiday season where you can get your turkey and bacon and mac and cheese and everything that I'm rubbing my belly right now, like because I love it, right? But just remember that there are many factors, there are many ways that we can help mitigate as best as we can the spread of COVID and the worst results of COVID. For a lot of people, vaccination will help you for a long time, or for a short time, for some time. We'll say that. Natural immunity is a real thing. That's why I am not dying and in the hospital right now, because I have antibodies. I am losing my smell and taste as we speak. So, anyway, all that being said, I am not great right now, but that's okay. I love being here, and it's important that we understand all of the variables that come with a communicable virus, specifically a respiratory virus, and that the misinformation that big tech and the government is spreading is incredibly detrimental to our ability to overcome, quote unquote, overcome this virus. Hashtag let's get on with life. That really, really matters, because I got news for you folks. We are not going to ever have zero COVID. Regardless of what MSNBC and CNN says, I promise you, zero COVID is not a thing. So, with that being said, I don't have a lot to talk about tonight. I have no notes. I got home really late from work. I have felt pretty bad the back half of the day, as my kids and my wife are kind of coming through the end of the COVID situation again for like the second or third time. I am just beginning. So my nose and throat is burning really bad. However, I would love to take this opportunity to celebrate the non guilty on all counts verdict that is Kyle Rittenhouse, which is fantastic. Why is that fantastic? For most of you, you will understand wholeheartedly why it is. But for the few that are going to, or hopefully the many that will come across this podcast and Muddy Waters Media Network and the Cajun Libertarian and Eskimo Libertarian news broadcasts and updates, not guilty on all counts for a variety of reasons. I will say this: the fact that it took 4 days of jury deliberation is a little bit alarming, but they came to the right resolutions, right? So, very proud of that. Very happy for that, especially in the face of obvious potential threats of violence and riots within the city of Kenosha, which I actually have, or we, I'll say we, have an incredible teammate, Carly, who lives right by Kenosha and was terrified for her life and her children's life during the first event, and now very terrified for this one. But it is a fantastic thing for every American citizen. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. The fact that we upheld, in the face of obvious present danger and chaos, the rule of self defense, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all counts. And so now we'll wait to see if Kenosha has riots. But this will set a precedent that if you go to a town, any town, your town, my town, and decide to try to burn it to the ground, and a militia armed and ready within the law decides that they will protest and keep the city safe, this is a big deal. Very, very big deal. So thank you to the jury of Kenosha, Wisconsin, for finding Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all counts. That's remarkable. That's going to set a precedent for the defense of the Second Amendment and your right to protect yourself, even in the face of a violent situation, which we can clearly see is problematic and may be on the horizon for more cities. So, yeah, very, 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 very good situation today. There's a lot more about this that's going to come out and going to unfold. And I think we should be paying attention. But at the same time, this scenario is 100% a, I want to word this right. What's going on with this is not just a full repudiation of we cannot defend ourselves, but also a full repudiation of what the media is doing and how hard they tried to push a narrative of this kid was a murderer and a white supremacist. That those two things are vastly important. Why? Because he was not a murderer, and we have all the evidence to prove it, and he's not a white supremacist, so far as we can tell. And he did not act accordingly to white supremacy in this situation. We know that for a fact. I don't know if the kid's a white supremacist or not. I really doubt that. That's just a giant boogeyman for the left. It's the same thing as calling everyone you don't agree with alt right white supremacists. So this is a voice for American freedom, for the solidification and validation of the Second Amendment, and that even under the pressure of riots, violence, with these normal people, don't forget, this jury is a normal group of folks. I would be, astonished if 12 of those jurors were were politically aligned or involved and engaged to the point that we are, the Eskimo is, that I am, that the entire audience of Muddy Waters Media is. I find that hard to believe. Hard to believe. These are regular people. And they looked at the evidence, they looked at the data, and they came to the same conclusion that most sane Americans would and will. And that's he defended his life. Had he not, he'd probably be dead. And the fact that they came to that conclusion under the pressure of riots, violence, and most probably being shown to the public, being not just criticized, but threatened, is a real problem for them. And instead of worrying about that, they chose to go with the right decision. That decision being not guilty, mass non-compliance, mass non-defense. And I absolutely commemorate. I'm sorry, not commemorate. That's the wrong word. I commend this jury for standing up in the face of what's going to be obvious threats on their family and on their community, and deciding to make the right decision and finding Rittenhouse not guilty on all counts, which is remarkable. At the same time, I don't think we should not. I don't think I know we should not be worshiping Kyle Rittenhouse um, for being some sort of hero. He defended his life. That's not what a hero does. A hero goes into a situation that is life threatening and makes the right decision. Now, as he did do that to some degree, this court case and the examples of it don't reward him for being exactly a hero. We're not heroes for doing the right thing. That should be understood. But I fully align and love what the jury came to conclusion on. And I'm very proud that in the face of obvious threats of violence and riots, this jury decided to do the right thing and found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all counts. Now, with that being said, it is going to be a massive obligatory duty for those of us that are pro 2A, for those of us that are pro in defense of your individual freedom and your personal safety, that we cannot relent, because this doesn't end here. That's a fact. It does not end here, and we need all the help that we can get.
Yeah, the next big court case that we need to look at is now the Ghislaine Maxwell case, which starts November 29th, and that'll be in
Mm,
Manhattan.
that's a big one. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So,
hope to God that we all just freaking magnify that, and that is a huge case. We also have the case of I forget the kid's name, Asmar or something. There's a court trial. There's a case trial going on right now with three dudes that wound up killing another guy with their claims of he was supposedly stealing stuff. All right, so if we're going to talk about this in the name of justice, then we need at least one to two. I don't know the complete facts of it, but somebody needs to go to prison for that. That's clear murder, and we cannot stand for that. Just as much we cannot stand for having Kyle Rittenhouse go to prison because of activism in spite of the facts. We cannot have these people be let off. Now we'll see as the evidence comes out more. But I'm one. I was going to say 1,000. That's not true. I'm very certain that this was clear murder, and
I think
so
the court case you're talking about is the Ahmaud Arbery's
yes,
murder.
I'm Arbery. Sorry, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
I just looked it up real quick. But yeah, yeah, I think that's the case you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Ahmaud
stay
Arbery.
vigilant,
Yep.
folks.
Yeah, stay vigilant. Yeah. I'm Ahmaud Arbery, in my personal opinion, and we'll find out the facts as we go along. But it's pretty clear, in my personal opinion, that on the face of it, this was murder, and those people need to go to jail. Kyle Rittenhouse, self defense, did the right thing. We should stand up for that, and we are. Ahmaud Arbery, that seems like murder to me, and those guys should go to jail.
Awesome. Well, I don't know too much about that case. I still need to look up more about it, but I am curious to see how the Ghislaine Maxwell case will be and if that will get nearly as much coverage as what is going on right now. We'll see, but I I know I'm like telling people like don't forget about this case. It's coming up. This is a really big one, guys, and it's not something that you're necessarily hearing a lot about. Probably because the Kyle Rittenhouse has been such a huge issue that it's overshadowing
Right.
this, but it's coming up in 10 days. So,
I saw that earlier today and late last night. So yeah, Gillisleen Maxwell trial coming up. Big big issue when it comes to human trafficking. And they're not gonna that you're right, Eskimo. They're not gonna want us to cover that. They're not gonna want us to pay attention to that. And so we have to pay attention to it. Have to. I mean, look at how many people made memes about Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And now we have Gillisleen Maxwell. Sorry, I bit my tongue. Um, yeah, happening. Crazy.
awesome.
And you said in 10 days, right?
Yep. So on the 29th, yes, 29th, which is a Monday after Thanksgiving.
Monday after that's not on accident. For sure.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But just so folks know, that's one of the other big ones that are coming up.
Yep, we'll have to cover that for sure. We'll cover it next week, and I'll cover it later on in the week after Thanksgiving when I feel a little bit better and not pumped full of medicine. So, however, we do have a candidate running for Congress. He's very real.
Not only that, he has Jonathan Reels, not just real, but Jonathan Reels. And so he is running for Alabama's second district, and he needs to raise money to be a Reels candidate. So go check out www.jonathan.cash. That's www.jonathan.cash. And check out his platform, donate to him so that he is a Reels candidate.
A reals candidate. We also have a promo, an advertisement for a guy that's in a wheelchair with upside down feet, but we won't talk about him too much because he is a real candidate with upside down feet. Tomfor52.com. That's TOMFOR52.com. Thomas Daniel Quitter for New York State Senate. Check him out. Love you, Tom.
Awesome. So be sure to check in. Let's see, next week we have Mr. Bearded Truth on Monday. And then on Tuesday, there will be Muddy Waters of Freedom with Matt and Spike. And next Wednesday will be Spike Cohen and his guest. Oh my gosh, it's a rapper. I forget his name.
He's a rapper, though.
I totally forgot. But anyways, it's a rapper. Go check out. It's gonna be really cool. That's on Wednesday, and then on Thursday it'll be Matt Wright and his guest. You won't believe who his guest is gonna be. And then Friday, well, I don't know. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Does he have a show? I should really check the schedule before I hop on here to do their promotions. But normally, Matt Wright has a show on Thursday. And then on Friday, it's us again.
Yep, and I will feel much better and be much more prepared for next Friday's show. I imagine that by the time I wake up Sunday morning, we'll be done with this. So we'll have a
Yeah.
great show for y'all Friday night. Monday night, Mr. America, Bearded Truth. Tuesday night, Muddy Waters of Freedom. Wednesday night, my fellow Americans. With most of you, I understand fully that y'all are sick and tired and really don't care about hearing anything that Spike has to say. And so, but we're obligated to tell you that on Wednesday night, Spike will be saying stuff that nobody cares about. And then Thursday night, Matt Writer's Block. And then Friday, Cajun Eskimo Show. Obviously, I'm fully joking about no one wanting to hear Spike. He is a fantastic voice and just an entrepreneur of freedom and a voice for liberty and the movement that we want to hold and continue on to. So thank you very much, all of you. We will see you on Muddy Waters Media Monday night with Miss America Bearded Truth, and then fast forward through all of the things that nobody cares about to Friday night Cajun Eskimo Show from Bayous to Iglus. I thought
Oh,
you were going to cut in there.
oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
This
We're
is
just
the.
go ahead.
No, you're good. It's my bad. I'm so pumped full of medication and all that stuff. So this is the Cajun and Eskimo Show
Advocating for a freer world.
from Bayous.
To Igloos. Good night,
Love
folks.
y'all.